What's up guys, it's Scarlett and I'm back with another video for my female viewers. Now, I'm sure you've noticed I make content for both men and women on my channel, and that's not something that you typically see. Most of the advice I give, whether it's for men or for women, is pretty interchangeable because we have a lot of the same interests and a lot of the same things that you can do to improve yourself and to improve your dating and relationship life is interchangeable across gender. So in this video, I want to talk about nice girls versus mean girls. And definitely a really big misconception that women have is that they think that when it comes to men, the only thing that's really important is how they look and if they are a good motherly figure or something that a guy, a lot of men portray that they want, and so women start acting in that way, but it's actually very incorrect and misleading. And I want to share with you guys a couple of what these things are and how you can change them so that you can immediately go from a nice girl to a girl who is kind but who's self-loving and values herself. Because when we say nice, we're really talking about the codependent type of behavior, the needy type of girl. So the nice girl character is a girl who really tries to impress a guy and really tries to gain his validation and his approval. She's not very sure of herself, so she will go to great lengths to get a guy to like her. Often she'll fixate on one guy and she'll be super loyal to a man. Even if they're not exclusively dating, she will create a loyalty in her mind and heart for this guy. And sometimes she'll even jump through hoops doing things like cooking for a guy or cleaning his apartment without him ever having done anything really to earn that type of behavior. A nice girl is the type of girl who will drop all her plans and be okay with the guy kind of stringing her along, and instead of demanding respect and responding at the same time that she is, maybe she'll be texting constantly and then he won't respond for days, but then once he texts she'll run and go over and sleep over with him or whatever. The ironic thing is that the more nice a girl is and the more doting and giving without a guy actually earning it, the more he actually loses respect for her and attraction. So I want to give you guys some tips. If you're a nice girl, how you can immediately go from being a nice girl to being a mean girl, more so a self-loving girl. The first thing you gotta do is you've got to prioritize your own needs first. So that means if you really want something from a guy, or you have an intention, you want a guy to be your boyfriend, or you want a guy to take you out a certain way, you have to set that as your intention and not to settle for anything less. Don't let a guy decide the course of your interaction, what you guys are doing. You have to decide it from the onset, and then you have to be bold enough and self-loving enough that if he's not meeting your expectations, that you can walk away. So you prioritize yourself first, and you're willing to walk away if you're not getting exactly what you want. Because mean girls always know that there's another guy waiting, there's tons of guys in line, and if a guy's not treating her right, then it's next and on to the next one. So part of prioritizing what you want is knowing yourself and knowing what you want. You shouldn't be on the fence about whether you want to be friends with benefits, or you want a relationship, or you're looking to get married, or whatever. You should know what you want and be very firm in your plans and in how you're going to be courting and how you're going to allow people to come to you for you to manifest and create what type of situation you want with a man. The second thing nice girls do is they try to earn a guy's love rather than having the guy earn their love. So instead of trying to find out what a guy wants and jumping through hoops to try and get him to like you, you should be willing to swallow a tough pill if a guy isn't doing what you want, that maybe he doesn't like you. But that wouldn't matter if you really love yourself. Then you're able to kind of scoop him aside and allow other people to come in. The truth is though, most guys, when you are at a certain level of energy and vibration of self-love, they will sort of shapeshift and mold into what you're projecting out so that they will meet what you desire and what you're creating. But that comes down to like what you're projecting. So if you're projecting the vibe that you're trying to impress a guy, if when you go out on a date, all you do is talk about what you did or like your what school you went to or what job you have, or you know, things where you're trying to impress a guy, it's a turnoff because it is a man's job to be impressing you. So a guy typically should be earning levels of access to you that you don't just give up front. So this isn't about saying, oh, you shouldn't sleep with someone for this and this long. It's really all variable, but the whole point is that you are setting the standard of what pleases you, what you're attracted to, and the guy, you don't just give someone access to you and to say yes to everything, yes to talking on the phone, yes to texting, yes to hanging out, unless the guy has really proved himself, his place to you, and that he has earned, you know, your interest. So when you're interacting with a guy, you should be asking questions to see whether he meets your personal standards that you set for yourself. A third thing that nice girls do that mean girls don't is that they're always open and available. And this of course ties into the whole self-love thing and how much you're valuing yourself, because most women who value themselves are not waiting around for a guy to fill their life with joy and happiness. Mean girls can afford to be mean because they know that they're solid on their own, they're happy, they are busy with their life, with their hobbies, with their work, and they have no shortage of friends and suitors and lovers and people who are competing for her time. So if you are a nice girl, you probably are always available, and to change that habit, you want to take up your time with activities that are focused on nourishing yourself, because mean girls care about the self. They want to make sure that they're building up their character, that they're improving their skills, that they're learning languages, that they're reading books, that they are doing things to spoil themselves. They're going and getting their nails done, or they're going to the spa. So if you have ample time and you are in general feeling empty and alone and bored and you're waiting for a guy to come around, then you want to change that and act as though that is not the priority on your list, but that's just something extra, because it is. Another thing that nice girls do that mean girls don't is nice girls are afraid to say no. So if a nice girl is hanging out with a guy and he's being overly touchy, or he's trying to pressure her into sleeping with him, or they're texting and he's like, come on, let's go out, you know, let's do this, and she doesn't really want to, she doesn't have the self-confidence or strength of will to say no. And that's something that's really important for every woman to develop, so that she can honor her boundaries and her body and her energy. You can do whatever you want, but it has to be on your terms, and you have to be willing to say no loud and clear to anything you're not comfortable with. And that could be anything from intimacy to just a time that you meet up with someone, or if, you know, with the coordination, if they're not being respectful, or anything that just doesn't vibe with you, you just can easily say no, and you know you have a million other things you can do, that your life's not going to end over it. So carrying off of that point, mean girls know how to ask for what they want. Nice girls will be afraid to say if they want something. Say you're out to dinner and you're eating something and you want to order something. A nice girl might be afraid, like, oh, I don't know if this is too expensive or whatever. A mean girl will do whatever she feels like. She will be willing to treat A mean girl basically speaks up for what she wants. So if they're say you're trying to plan a date or somewhere to go, a nice girl will just be kind of like willing to do anything. Like if someone wants to go to coffee, like she'll say, okay, fine, that's fine. Or if the guy's like, oh, let's Netflix and chill, a nice girl, like, yeah, that's fine. A mean girl will definitely have standards for what she wants. To say up front if there's something that she wants or that she's not really afraid to express an opinion. Nice girls, for example, will be afraid to kind of contradict a guy. Like let's say a guy has a certain political opinion or something like that, or he tells a joke but it's not funny. A nice girl will do her best to just make sure to keep the peace and to make the guy feel good. So the nice girl will be like, yeah, I agree with you, you're right. Or she'll like fake laugh and be like, yeah, everything. You know, she's afraid to rock the boat, which ultimately is a turn off. The mean girl is not afraid to challenge a guy and not afraid to show him even his shortcomings. And she's not afraid to ask for something. She's not afraid to demand value. She's not afraid to order expensive things on the menu. She's not afraid to request things that demonstrate the value that she has. You can even tell certain differences down to the little things. So a nice girl is generally insecure inwardly, so the way she walks and carries herself is generally not very confident. She might have poor body posture. She might have her head kind of looking down. She probably fidgets and touches her hair a lot, or is in general nervous and anxious because she's not owning her power and she's not radiating her energy. A mean girl is very confident in who she is. She holds her head up high. She walks around like she owns the place, and she just kind of commands attention with her energy and is used to breaking necks wherever she goes. Now I want to point out that mean girls are not masculine. So it's one thing to be assertive, but it doesn't mean that you are masculine in the sense of being overly competitive or brute. A mean girl is still very feminine, but she's not afraid to rock the boat. She's not afraid to speak her mind, to keep things interesting, to shake things up, to cancel a plan if she changes her mind and isn't feeling like it, etc. In general, the point of this video is not to encourage anyone to be malicious, but rather to encourage someone to rather err on the side of putting themselves first. Because if you don't put yourself first, you can't really show up for other people, and you honestly become bait for the sharks in the world. So it's better to have a strong sense of self and to put your own needs first and to be assertive, and people are attracted to that more than they are to the needy, overly pleasing, desperate for validation type of woman. I hope this video helps, and let me know if you want any more feminine videos. I like making them and connecting with my female audience. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next videos.